So back when I was just a lad, low on the 90s, before the turn of the century, Rush Limbaugh had actually become popular enough that he literally had a television show. I think the local station that it was on, it was towards later in the night, but it was like on 44 WTOG, I want to say, but that's not important. This is in the Clinton years, and his show was very anti-Clinton, and man, the stupid seatbelt alarm. His show was very anti-Clinton, anti-Democrat, and I thought that it was merely that he was, in general, pointing out what people in power were doing wrong. You know, like, there's journalism, and to me, journalism would mean that if you see something wrong being done by a person in power, if you're a political journalist, then you point it out. However, the moment that I had a turning of a corner, and this was during my impressionable years, and this is maybe what has allowed me to become a centrist and maybe even be a little bit left of center. There was a scandal, and I don't remember the details on it, but it involved the then at the time Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, and it either involved drugs or something to do with their housekeeper, like an illegal alien or some, relatively scandalous, at least as scandalous as a good portion of the things that he picked on, he being Rush Limbaugh, would pick on Janet Reno about, or Bill Clinton. Now the Clintons having people killed and having real estate scandals and things like that are a far cry from something going on with having a housekeeper who's an illegal alien. However, because the person was then at the time Speaker of the House, it's newsworthy, because here's another person who makes the rules that's just breaking the rules. And I figured, okay, well, we'll hear something about it. And I tuned into the Rush Limbaugh show, and absolutely nothing. Just the whole way through. And truth be told, I don't think Rush was ever said a foul word about a Republican up until the Trump years, where there were some Republicans who opposed Trump that he'd be willing to push against. But my memory may be flawed in that. But that to me demonstrated the difference between a political conservative pundit, and there's pundits on the other side as well, like your David Pakman, your whole crew of you got a whole network dedicated to the other side with CNN. It's all political pundits. And that's not the same as journalism. Not that we need to expect journalism to be balanced, but if you have an audience and your audience is groomed and you have a high level of trust with your audience, and you're only presenting one particular case, that to me shows the possibility of allowing your audience to believe, well, the only people that there's a problem with are the people who we, the audience, see that are doing bad things. So if it's Tucker Carlson, then it must have been Joe Biden or Barack Obama. But do we hear, and correct me if I'm wrong, has Tucker Carlson said anything about Mitch McConnell having seizures in the middle of press conferences when the man is majority leader in Congress? Just as an example, But our leading story is Obama smoking crack and having butt sex 20 years ago. Just a thought. not quite 20 years ago, but you get my point. Having a standing politician having a seizure is a pretty damn big deal. And I'm just using that as an example. And I'm not saying one way or the other. I wasn't there for, and the topic on the floor is Larry Sinclair's story about hooking up with Barack Obama in 1999. To me, I don't feel like, say, Tucker Carlson as a journalist has a first-hand source, which is Larry Sinclair, who would be the person there. And the other first-hand source would be Barack Obama. And the third first-hand source would probably be, say, like the limo driver. And then the other first-hand source would be, say, the drug dealer. The first-hand sources in journalism are the only people who could declare that they are certain. Yet Tucker Carlson, in his way and in his style, he says, no, I am certain that this story is true. To me, that pokes a hole in his credibility, because there's zero chance to be certain. You can say, here's what Larry Sinclair said when he was talking to me. I detected quite a bit of sincerity. I have a lot of experience with people, and because he said that he would sign an affidavit and he would take a lie detector test, that to me says that this is a true story, a true thing. It'd be easy enough to prove that, what they said about anybody running the story about Larry Sinclair during the presidential campaign would be denied access to the Obama administration. That's easy enough to prove. You can run with that. But, I get it. I get it that Carlson has to be salacious and he has to do things to keep up his brand. But I find it grating. And as much as when he was on the Adam Carolla show and they present this as being part of the solution, in essence, a continuation of InfoWars being part of the solution. To me, if you're a one-sided pundit and not a journalist, I think in a way you're a continuation of the problem. Just my 2 cents. I don't know. That's what I got. All right, y'all take it easy.